Okay, so let's talk about the best passive income ideas for beginners. There's 8 of them, and I view selecting each one as if you're selecting a character in a video game, because something fascinating happened a few years ago. Everyone, including you right now, started playing the great online game, and how you play the game and which character you select determines hugely what sort of a life you live. Determines where you can travel, determines who you meet, determines whether you enjoy your career, and determines how much money you have. So it's a really important decision, and some people are actually saying that this game is no longer optional. You have to play the game. So this video will introduce you to the 8 characters, introduce you to the 8 passive income ideas. And I actually know that all 8 of these ideas work, either because I've done them personally myself, or I know people closely that have done them and can validate that they work. I actually paid $36,000 to join a business mastermind, and everybody in there is doing one of these 8 different passive income ideas. So let's start meeting the characters. The first 2 characters are actually locked. They're locked until you get to a later level of the game. So we'll talk about these at the end of the video. And these 2 characters are really important with making the transition from active income to passive income. The third character is actually a character that can be unlocked pretty quickly. And it's actually quite a fun character. It's the indie hacker. The indie hacker is somebody that runs around on the internet trying to identify little problems and little opportunities for them to create code. So all of these different characters use a different form of leverage in order to make an impact. And an indie hacker uses code as their form of leverage. Code's a great form of leverage because once you write it once, you can use the internet to continuously put that code in front of lots of different people, which means you do the work once and you can impact and help thousands of people just from that one piece of impact that you made. There's actually a community of indie hackers that are actively making tens of thousands of dollars a month through these little side projects that they're creating that add value using different types of code. An obvious requirement for this is learning how to code, but luckily if you have the desire to do so, you can do that on the internet completely for free. An indie hacker is a great opportunity for a character that you can play. And once you've set up the code and it's solving people's problems and adding value to them, technically, this can earn you passive income pretty quickly. If you're interested in learning more, you can check out the free community of indie hackers, as well as the free podcast that goes with it. This is not sponsored, it's just something I've listened to and enjoyed before. But if you want to, you can choose the character of the indie hacker. And the fourth character is a founder. If an indie hacker uses code as his main form of leverage, a founder uses code as well as money as his leverage. Where does this money come from? Well, a founder goes out to different investors and tells them about the opportunity that he's thinking about creating, or even better still, has created and is starting to get customers profitably, and then gets money from these investors in exchange for a percentage of equity in the business, so that if it sells, the founder gets a return on his investment. Now, founders are ambitious. Founders think big. Setting out on being a founder of a tech startup is a monumental task. It's incredibly difficult, and the success rate of these founders are very slim. If you look at Y Combinator, which is the greatest startup accelerator for founders, what you'll understand is that their model is based on 99% of people failing, but 1% of people hitting a home run and become a huge company. For example, Airbnb went through Y Combinator, which means that if Y Combinator invested in 99 companies that didn't succeed, but they invested in one Airbnb, they made their money back massively. So founders are ambitious. Founders are going for the home run. Founders are willing to gather a team and work all day, every day, whereas an indie hacker can just be a team of one and doesn't have to work that hard. So in my eyes, being a founder is high risk, but high reward. If you want to become a founder, I'd recommend you start checking out Paul Graham's essays, which I believe are one of the best resources on this topic. Now, the fifth type of character you can be is a dropshipper. A dropshipper creates physical products and sends them out to different people on the internet. You may have heard fulfillment by Amazon, which is basically just being a dropshipper and using Amazon as your fulfillment service, selling through Amazon instead of selling through your own website. But you can also sell through your own website, and you can run adverts, or you can do viral marketing. You may see on TikTok, I saw one the other day of somebody that had a fidget spinner, and he could throw the fidget spinner and it would come back to him. This is obviously someone that's just selling this fidget spinner, drop shipping, and is deciding to create viral content around it in order to promote the product. So dropshipping works. I know people that have done dropshipping very successfully. Some of the downsides is that the low margins, because you're selling physical products instead of content or code. Every time you sell something, you have to literally make something instead of with code where you can make something once and sell that multiple different times. And as well as that, there's less fulfillment. I've spoken with dropshippers and it seems like they're bored. If you're dropshipping, you don't get to see the customers, you don't get to see the impact that you've had. And most of the time, you're not really doing anything that meaningful, so it's not that impactful. But that being said, it can generate you a ton of passive income. I'd recommend you check out Davey Fogarty, I think that's his name, but I've heard that he makes good content on dropshipping. So I know this can work for passive income as well. Now, the sixth character that you may decide to play in order to make your passive income is an agency owner. An agency owner identifies a problem that a group of people has, that a niche has, and creates a service-based business around that problem. An agency owner will literally go out and think, what can I do to solve this problem? And they will do whatever it takes. They will go out and they will literally solve the problem for the niche. The benefits of literally going out and solving the problem is that you can charge very high prices. I've seen agency owners charge $10,000 plus a month for their agency service because the owner of the company that the agency owner is selling to has to do literally nothing. They can step back and they can do minimal things, and the agency owner is willing to go out and get the results done. Some examples may be Iman Gadzi with his agency of his marketing agency or his Facebook ads agency, where a company will go to him who doesn't have enough clients, he will do their Facebook ads for them and generate clients for them. And obviously that's an incredibly valuable process and you can earn a lot of money doing that. The best resource I'd recommend for this is actually Iman Gadzi. The benefits is that it's easy to sell an agency offer because of the things that I've just outlined. The downside is I hate it. I am somebody that looks for as much leverage as possible. And with an agency, the main leverage you're using is employees. The main leverage you're using is hiring people to deliver the results for you instead of using content or code. So it works really well if you're a beginner. I think it's a great business model. But what'll happen is you have to do a lot of work. And also there'll get to be a point where you're capped by the amount of clients you can bring on because of the amount of bandwidth that you have. And the only way you can get around that is by hiring employees. And when you hire employees, your profit margins drop. So it definitely works if you're a business. If you're a beginner, I would recommend looking into this and figuring out if this is something for you. And the best person for the job is Iman Gadzi, which I'll leave links below to in the description. And the seventh character that you may decide to play is that of the influencer. Some examples may be Logan Paul or James Charles. The influencer's only goal is to attract attention, because once you've got attention, money will follow. Once you've got attention, it's very easy to generate an income. You can do sponsorships, you can do affiliate marketing, you can sell your own stuff, you can sell literally anything. You can sell makeup, you can sell t-shirts, and you will make money if you have enough attention. This is the game of fame. This is the game of going out, pulling stunts, doing crazy videos like MrBeast does, doing whatever it takes to attract attention. Being a dancing monkey, some may say, and you may start to understand that this isn't the best goal, because I actually think there's a lot of downsides with fame that a lot of people don't talk about. Now, if you're somebody that has a desire to be famous, then being an influencer can work incredibly well, especially now to the platforms we have like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, YouTube, Twitter. It's possible for pretty much anybody that has the desire to become an influencer and to gain a ton of attention, if they're willing to do what it takes, which comes if you have the desire. So it's possible. You can definitely earn passive income once you have these things. And if you get enough attention, you can literally create businesses without you doing much. You will have people reaching out to you and telling you, I will do all of the work. All I have to do is put your face on this brand and you can build a business. For example, Logan Paul and KSI recently launched Prime. And it's actually kind of crazy how much money you can make in a short period of time. I've done sponsored videos in the past that have earned me $10,000, and all I had to do was spend 45 seconds reading out a specific thing and promoting a product that I believed in. I don't do sponsorships for products that I don't believe in, which is why I don't do that many. But it's crazy, 45 seconds for $10,000 once you have the attention. Being an influencer is definitely a way to generate passive income. But the eighth character, which we'll talk about before we circle back and talk about the first two characters which were locked, which were important in turning some of these active income streams into passive income streams, is the character that I'm most excited for, which is the character that I'm gonna have to get up to talk about because it's resonated so much with me That is the character of the synthesizer. It's the synthesizer's goal to compress wisdom. It's the synthesizer's goal not just to go out and attract attention, but it's to attract attention by adding value to people's lives, not just entertaining people, but actively helping people solve their problems, actively helping people achieve their desires and moving them from where they are now to where they want to get to. This is the role that I've decided to play. And I believe that for most people watching this, it's a better role than the influencer role. And I should have mentioned both the influencer role and the synthesizer's role. Main form of leverage is through content. I make this piece of content once. I walk around this room like a weirdo for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and yet thousands of people will see this. That is some crazy kind of leverage. But I would hope that if I'm going to be taking the attention of thousands of people, then I would hope that that time with me was well spent, which is why I put such a focus on adding value. But the beautiful thing happens with Synthesizer is that you don't need to be crazy famous. In fact, you can have niche fame. You can be known by a small group of people as an advisor, someone that's helped them, someone that's added value to them. So it's so heartwarming to me when I get messages of people saying, "You've changed my life. What can I do to help you back?" Or, "Thank you so much for this video. You can see in the comments below, this is one of the best videos that I've ever seen." I believe that the synthesizer is not only the most fulfilling role, but it also allowed you to build a small community of people who love what you do, and you can monetize that community very effectively and monetize them by actually giving them even more value. The synthesizer is such a beautiful role because your job is to give and to give and to give and to give and to give, and once you've given enough, then you shall receive. But the goal is purely to give, which makes it such a fun role to take on. It means that your job is to solve problems and to add value, and that's why I believe, at least for people with a similar personality type to me, if you enjoy reading and you enjoy learning, if you enjoy thinking, you enjoy figuring out problems, and you enjoy teaching, then I believe that the synthesizer is the best role for that sort of person. And the best place to learn this sort of stuff is through the Synthesizer School, where I've created a complete free course giving you everything that you need to earn a lucrative career online becoming a synthesizer. Now, at the start of the video, I mentioned that there was 2 different characters that can only be unlocked once you've chosen one of these other characters in the great online game, and once you've got a little bit of experience in them. The first one is that of the leader. Once you've done any of these things that I've just outlined, and you want to make it passive, there are 2 ways that you can do that. The first one is by becoming a leader. A leader basically hires other people and figures out how to get the other people to do the repeatable tasks that need to be done in order for the business to continue generating passive income. Everything in life faces entropy. If you don't do anything to something, it will get worse over time. But if you hire the correct other people to take your place on any of these roles that I've just outlined to you, then you can continue to earn passive income once you've set the foundations. And the 8th and final role is that of the investor. If you do any of these things and you make enough money from doing them, all you have to do is just take that money and invest it in a pretty safe bet, and you can earn passive income. I would actually say that investing, just chucking it in some pretty basic index fund, which is the advice that Warren Buffett gives, is the closest thing on this earth to passive income. Once you have a lot of money and you just invest it in a safe bet, it will continue to appreciate. You can take a little bit of that out when you need it, and that is the closest thing that I've found to passive income. But all of these things work. I hope you've enjoyed meeting the 8 characters of the great online game. Now it's the time for you to choose one and execute on it instead of going and continuing watching your binge on YouTube. Hope you've enjoyed.